So as Republican senators work to replace Obamacare, a number of Republican governors are actually expressing concerns. In fact, here's Maine Governor Paul LePage from a short time ago on why he's against the plan.
No, because it doesn't go far enough to fix it. I'm on the conservative side of this bill, and I think we're going to work together to make it better.
Eric Bolling is the host of The Specialists here on Fox and author of a new book. It's called The Swamp, Washington's Murky Pool of Corruption and Kyronism and How Trump Can Drain It. Cronyism. Thank you so much for coming on. And we'll talk about your book in just a second. But first, let's just talk about what people are not talking about. And that's all these governors. There's over a dozen GOP governors, both sides of the aisle actually, that are opposing this bill and have been meeting for months privately, and then just moments around the time that the July 4th deadline was sort of wiped off the table, here they come out and pounce.
You read something very important. You said in the opening script, you said deadline, and then you said you had Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell and the leadership on both sides, both in the House and in the Senate, leadership are the ones who are pushing this bill. Certainly not the White House. Now, the White House wants to get it done because they wanted, for some reason, the media is saying it's either going to be win or a loss for the White House. I don't think that this isn't a White House generated health care bill. This came from the House. It's being tweaked in the Senate. But these are leaderships on both sides that are saying we need this. Meanwhile, the Freedom Caucus in the House side and some of the more conservative senators in the Senate side say no. And now you hear LePage and other governors who are on the side of the conservative senators say, no, we're not ready for this. It's too soon.
Yeah, you know, at the center of more than a dozen GOP senators aimed at derailing the plan, here are a few. Nevada Governor Brian Sandoval, who rejected the Senate proposal for basically saying that it was swaying his state's Republican senators. Dean Heller, he wanted him to oppose the measure, and he managed to sway him. Ohio Governor John Kasich, he is a huge opponent to this, and he, in fact, had a press conference in D.C. yesterday to call the Senate bill unacceptable, saying that it would victimize the poor and mentally ill and redirect tax money to people who are already very wealthy.
You have two sides there. There you're showing the other side, where John Kasich, who wants the bill to offer more transfer of wealth from taxpayers to people in need, whereas Rand Paul in the Senate says, no, there's already too much of that going on.
It's interesting to hear Kasich say that, though, because right now that's sort of a Democratic talking point, that this is going to help the rich and hurt the poor, and here you have a Republican
throw grandma over the cliff. Well, let's be honest, John Kasich isn't exactly a conservative. He may be a GOP, but he's one of those squishy rhino conservatives that I love to call. Look, the problem with this plan is, in a little more than 1 year, Julie, there's going to be a midterm election. Right now, Obamacare is flatly unpopular across the board, almost unanimously unpopular, with the exception of the 11 million people who are getting stuff for free. The rest of them are saying it's failing, and it will continue to fail. So if they're losing going into an election, why would you take that away from them? Let the Democrats lose on Obamacare in 2018, then spend a year or two or however long it takes to fix the real problem with health care. The real problem with health care is the underlying cost of health care, not premium prices. That's health insurance. Health care is skyrocketing, and none of these bills, either Obamacare nor the GOP version of it, address the actual cost of health care.
Okay, I want to switch gears here now to George Will's recent op-ed, and I want your take on this because, of course, we've been talking about repeal and replace Obamacare, but he has a whole new spin on this. He calls it repeal and replace. Instead, should be changed to tweak and move on, saying that even if the tweaks constitute significant improvements, Obama will have been proved right when last October he compared the ACA to a starter home.
So this will be one of the very few times I agree with George Will. I mean, he comes from the more establishment, moderate end of the Republican Party. I'm a little bit further right, more conservative, but I agree with him. I think this is an opportunity to tweak what they have. They have Obamacare. The Democrats can own it. They can eat it in 2018. Tweak it, make sure people don't get thrown off their health insurance until you get through the election. If the GOP takes this bill right now under the current standards, premiums are going to rise into the 2018 elections. They're going to get slaughtered at midterms. They're going to turn the House back to Democrats.
And that's the problem, because a lot of people are up for re-election. And on your left of the screen there, you see protesters on Capitol Hill. And this sort of speaks volumes as to the public sentiment and voter sentiment when it comes to this.
Give them what they want. Those people want Obamacare. Give them what they want for a little bit longer.
So you think that they should just table this and move on? on.
Table it. Think about this for 1 second. Table it and say, we're going to get to this when we can get to it, and we want to make it right. Not make it fast, but make it right. Then go on to tax reform. Everyone across the board, whether you're a Democrat, Independent, or Republican, you want some sort of tax reform. It's better for the whole economy. Move on to infrastructure. Get those two under your belt, and then tackle health care later. What's the rush? It took Obama years to do it. The GOP is trying to do it in 5 months.
And this could really bite them where it hurts. If they don't get this right come those midterms, there could be a huge changeover.
Even by their own bill, the CBO scores the premiums to rise through 2018, which means you're going to go to the voting booth with a worse premium bill, health care bill, than Obamacare. They put themselves at mortal risk of the House if they do this.
All right, Eric Bolling, and also your book, The Swamp. It came out yesterday?
Came out yesterday, number 2 on Amazon, thanks to...
Number 2 on Amazon. Congratulations.
Matt Drudge, and President tweeted about it. President Trump tweeted about it, so, you know.
That doesn't hurt. He has a few couple followers.
110 million-ish?
It's crazy. Hey,
Thanks,
he's got a way to reach out to the people, so if he's tweeting about your book, I'm going to predict this will be number 1 by next week. All right.
Thank you.
Let's make it number 1, folks.